I'm going to begin by saying, it is a really moving story, and I knew nothing about Donald's tale before sort of watching this film. Were either of you aware of the story before getting the screenplay?
I wasn't at all. I was completely knew nothing about it, and then I watched the Deepwater documentary. But you knew quite.
Not him. No, I didn't. I learnt from this. I did know about Francis Chichester. I'm older than you, and so I was.
Knox Johnson. You knew about Sir Robin.
I did. I knew who Sir Robin Knox Johnson was, and I did remember that Alec Rose, Knox Johnson and Francis Chichester, and my memories of the 60s are fairly dim because I was quite small. But
you were a baby.
I was about 7, I think, when Chichester came home.
I'm not letting him pull this I'm old thing. He's a young
It's
fox.
an excuse for too many things. I can't let go. So I looked back what was going on in the 60s. They were going to the moon. There were the Beatles and Francis Chichester and Robin Knox Johnson sailed around the world.
That's brilliant. A 7-year-old's definition of planet Earth, 1965. That's brilliant. Yeah. Beatles, moon.
Are you guys able to get sort of moved by this? Is that possible for films you're in? Just generally speaking across your career, if you are one of the leading roles in a movie, are you able to watch it and be emotionally stirred by the story and the characters?
That's an interesting question.
That's a good question. I think I was, because of the way the film was finally edited, and there are moments in the film where I guess we knew it was going to be that Donald's hallucinating his wife. I didn't know exactly where it was going to come in his voyage, but I found that very moving, that moment, because I didn't know how it was going to be. I was playing a hallucination, so it just...
It's an odd thing to film.
It is an odd thing to film, yeah, but I thought that was a really moving... I thought your performance was how you looked at the ghost.
I was very moved by you.
I was very moved by the way you looked at the ghost, the hallucination of your wife. It was very... I found that... Yeah,
It's funny, it's such a good question, and I don't think anyone's asked it before. Because I suppose... all right, I'll tell you what it is. I think there's so much going on when you watch... Because you're remembering how you shot it, and you remember that the light was fading that day, and you remember, you've also, if you're vain enough, you're going, that's not my, oh God, why do I look, I'm too old, I look like my grand.
All sides.
Yeah. So, no, but I'm just talking about the things that interfere with just giving yourself to an experience, and they're usually really petty and banal, and but I think what does happen and where you can get moved, because I watched it last night and I did feel myself very moved, but what's happening in that moment is you're a collective experience. So it's not the same as sort of sitting in being shown a film just for yourself. I think when you've got a lot of people around you and you can feel that they're having an emotional reaction, then you sort of can surrender to that.
And Donald had this sort of blissful, quite misplaced sense of optimism. I guess it's sort of verging on delusion. I mean, why did you both think he carried on? What do you think it was that meant he wouldn't just sort of maybe step back and analyse and go, maybe this isn't the best idea?
It was too late once he'd left, really. He had to keep going, didn't he?
Yes. Well, I think that's a human thing. I think, when do we know when to stick and just cut your losses? We're all really bad at that. And I think it started off as small problems while he was still on land. Because I think he was, in some ways, it sort of sealed his fate in a way before he even set sail. Where, looking in retrospect, you can say that. But I think it started off with, I'll just fix this problem by, doing that. And then that creates a problem. And then you often don't really know how deep you've got in until you are in real danger, and you can then look back quite clearly and see where you made your mistakes. But we all do that. We all say, "Look, I won't call it off now. We're not at that point. I'll draw another card and see if it gets me out of this problem." I think it was incremental.
And actually, having just met Sir Robin Knox Johnson, that is a sailor's or an adventurous mentality. You just keep going. That's kind of what he said. I mean, his voyage was very different in that he was a professional sailor, so he actually knew what he was doing, whereas Donald wasn't. But kept going, didn't it? I mean, it's sort of an odd thing to say, but Donald tried to keep going.
Yes, it's the nature of the beast. I mean, once you're taking on a thing like that, giving up means you're telling yourself that it was all a mistake. You know, you're just basically writing off everything you invested in it, everything you were dreaming of, everything you sacrificed to do this.
And the whole financial situation,
I mean, what he was facing was real. I mean, to go home as a ruined man when the entire point of the expedition was...
to be a hero.
Yes, for his family, to... a lot of it was to resolve issues within himself. And giving up would be going in completely the opposite direction. He's not the only sailor to have felt that strongly about it. We was talking earlier about one of the other sailors in the race who said that... you know, death was preferable to giving up, even though he had family. But in that moment, I think, you know, you're pronouncing judgment on everything you've been about over the last year. You know, if you make that decision to stop.
Brilliant. Thanks so much for your time today, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey!